The year is 2026, planet Earth, and the powers that be decided to reveal the greatest mystery known to mankind. Are we alone? Are we being visited? Who are we? And where do we come from? And ultimately, what is our destination? Join Planetary HQ on this cosmic adventure while we seek to find the nuggets of truth hidden in all the distortion. And we got a new set of UFO files. Hey.
Today we'll be your cosmic liaison officers. The United States of America has been disclosing. They're finally doing it. It's a great show. Thanks for being here, everybody. We're glad everyone's here to watch in the age of disclosure.
Age of disclosure. What's going on, everybody? You are now tuned into Planetary HQ, the planetary headquarters for all your celestial information. My name is Deadrick Baker, XDBakeTheWise on Instagram, joined by my brother Tay Chilla, Taylor Verser, and we're doing it again, brother. We out here talking about the UFOs, man. UFO file drop number 2. Was it the presidential mixtape? I think Trump out here on the corner slanging mixtapes now. I feel like back in the day, like waiting for Lil Wayne to drop. He used to drop like every other day, man. Dat Piff mixtapes, I download them, put them in my CD player on the way to high school. Yeah, that's how old I was. And I feel the same feeling. I'm waking up every other day and now there's new UFO drops. And I'm like, oh man, I'm so excited for it. So I guess we're going to go over the current hot popular culture UFO talk and weave in some cosmic philosophy from some very interesting and unique contact cases that not many people are talking about. So we hope you sit back, relax, enjoy the show. If you are not a subscriber, we're going to remind you to hit that subscribe button because you're going to want to stay up to date with all the juicy celestial information. So what's going on, Tay Chilla? What's going on, my brother?
What's up? What's up? Welcome, everybody. I see Corey Mufo in the chat. What's good? It's been a minute.
What's going on?
Good to see you there. Job Y, I remember seeing you before. Glad you could catch the start. We've been doing all these cinematic intros, or trying to, making little edits to make it spicy. These are cosmic assets that we're putting up for the age of disclosure. Like the whole next 10 years, people are going to be asking the same questions over and over again. What's up with the UFO? I mean, some people, imagine being the guy or girl down the line, like, let's say 3 months when they tell us that aliens are real. They tell us they have some anti-grav craft, and that's the first time someone's hearing about it. There's going to be people like that, meaning that all the questions that people have asked in the past that we're asking now and that that people are going to ask in the near future, we got to spread that same information as much as possible so that we don't have to keep answering the same questions because, we want to move fast. We want to get to the next thing. The cosmic discoveries await, but we want to bring planet Earth on the ride. So we are the headquarters for all your celestial broadcasts. That's the goal. And I'm excited to get into this. The UFO files.
The UFO files, baby. So you got some stuff pulled up in the queue. Do you want to hit some videos first before we dive into the reading?
Yeah, for sure. So you guys saw a couple things in the intro there, but I got a couple timestamps. We'll go through it with a fine-tooth comb, start scrubbing, and see if this is a nothing burger or if we're really on the way to disclosure. So in the chat, let us know. Have you guys been through these videos yet? Anything that you really enjoyed watching, or are we good to just wait for the next round?
Let me pull up the chat right now.
And I'll share my screen for you, D-Bake. All right. All right, so yeah, okay, well, let me roll it back a few bit. If anyone's not caught up, disclosure has been sort of formally rolling into a new phase since 2017 when the New York Times broke this big story that, lo and behold, the government still has secret programs, classified programs that are studying UFOs. And that was a big surprise because the last time they had admitted this, had a program that they publicly were studying and trying to figure this out, was Project Blue Book, which ended sometime in, I think, around the 70s. So all this time, and, it turns out they're just as interested in UFOs as everyone else is, as all the public is. And that sort of kicked off a new wave of interest and legitimization. And these whistleblowers start coming out. Lou Elizondo is one of the first, that claims, he was working in that 2017 declassified program that the New York Times broke. He's like smuggling videos out that are kind of not classified. That became known as the Gimbal and the Go Fast videos. And that's kind of like the first legitimized military UFO footage, right? That everyone starts looking at. It's just these three videos, but one of them does kind of look like a saucer that's like rotating on an axis. And ever since then, it's been like a slow drip. And yeah. I guess the way that I would put it is that it seems like there is a little bit of organic movement in this whole disclosure process. But do you think that, what do you think? Is this completely organic? Is it busting at the seams because the secret has been kept so long? Or is this a psyop? Is this organized by some part of the government? What have you been feeling this whole time?
This entire time, from my point of view, I definitely know it's a benevolent interaction. Like I always say on the channel, this is part of a normal timeline for a species, the integration with the greater space brotherhood, the integration with the Galactic Federation. And this is only going to it's going to be the most monumental event in human history. Society is going to change from the ground up. We're going to start actually understanding our purpose, because right now we're kind of wandering around like aimless robots. We don't really know what's going on. And all we're told is to be a consumer. That doesn't vibe with us, so we feel weird on the inside. We're not just alive to be consumers. This is a weird way of living. So I know that's going to finally evolve into, when we wake up every morning, it's going to be focused on hitting my potential through creative means. Seeking out my tribe, my working party, and then creatively growing mentally, physically, and spiritually. And that would be everybody's focus. I know it sounds crazy, but it wouldn't be like work, 9 to 5, family, holidays, whatever we consider life today. It would be waking up like almost in Starfleet Academy, where we're only focused on this cosmic mind, body, spirit progress as a society, contributing to society in a scientific, philosophic, or spiritual type of way. And if imagine that, just waking up and your planet is that. Your planet is one big Starfleet headquarters, and you can just do whatever you want. Like, that's what we have the capability of being, and that's what the cosmic organizations or the advanced planets have already achieved, and they're going to try to help us get to that stage. So that's what I'm excited for. What really gets me sad is what Stephen Greer and a lot of others have been blowing the whistle on, is how the powers who are currently in charge of media are trying to spin this as a threat narrative, and how these aliens are going to attack us. If you look at the media, like Independence Day, all of the movies, it's always aliens attacking. I'm excited, but I'm also kind of fearful for Disclosure Day by Steven Spielberg. I don't know if he's going to spin it in a fear narrative, because you see the trailer and it kind of is already kind of like that. But I know you got to put butts in seats and sell tickets and horror and alien cells. But I'm very wary of everybody saying the aliens are bad. They're going to invade us. They're going to take us over. They're going to probe us. And that's not the case at all. For every negative ET race out there, there's 1,001 positive ETs out there. So don't be afraid. It's going to be awesome.
And y'all on the internet know how it is. The haters are the loudest one in the room, which means the self-service, entities, maybe, if some of them are just kind of here to take some resources and do some science experiments, they're likely the minority. People talk about different concepts that the good ETs only show up when you ask. And we haven't really been asking, you could say. And I do like that Stephen Greer in his CE5 protocol says, look, if you ask, they will show up. And it's not because you're summoning them. It's because you're doing a cosmic handshake saying, hey, we're actually peaceful down here. There's pockets of us that are level-headed and cosmically conscious and want to be a part of the cosmic citizenship. And so I respect that, about, what Greer says. I think he's also shedding a lot of light on more of the darker secrecy. And that's hard to stomach. We'd like to think that everyone in the government in the secret access programs would be inspired by such a contact with alien life, and that we could have a real movie moment of first contact where the world powers are shaking hands with the aliens and they're saluting. We want to be part of the Galactic Federation too. We're responsible adults. But it's not been like that for quite a few thousands of years, and every lost civilization that we've gone through. We got. Let's go through some of these comments. It looks like some of y'all have seen these videos. So
Gino
Corey,
in the chat. What's going on, Gino? What's going on, big bro?
Corey said, I thought it was better than the first release, hoping it continues to get weirder. Amen. They gave us some color videos this time. Ooh, the coloring book is no longer black and white.
It's like the 1950s when they first aired colored TV.
Yeah,
ooh.
The first colored UFO video. So yeah, we got a little more than black and white. And Job Y
it's more
said,
diverse.
So far, I feel this is just Blue Book. Excited to see where this goes, but we all know the government never really discloses anything. I hope I am wrong. Yeah, that's a big question. Well, maybe here's a hot take. I have this hypothesis that there's what I call the old guard and the new guard within the government and the SIPs. And the old guard is the legacy program that has anyone involved in that has basically accepted the death threat, the NDA that they've signed, and they're basically kind of locked in that system. However, the new guard is when a certain portion of the intel community found out that a larger portion or secret portion of the CIA and the national security state actually had some crazy cool tech. And when they asked for access, because they're like, I should have access, I have the clearances. When they asked for access and they were told no, they got kind of mad. And this is sort of what is described in this whole Lou Elizondo ATIP era, that they tried to get the UFO materials from one of a contractor, and it was stopped in its tracks. It was halted, that process. And I think that represents, you could say,
right.
The transfer of UAP materials, is that what they call it? Kona Blue?
Yeah.
So I think that represents, I would say, let's say they did get the UFO materials. Let's say they were given, that wasn't stopped. I bet they would have kept it secret. I bet we wouldn't have gotten this far. But because they didn't, powerful people who have served the military for a long time don't like getting said no when they feel like, by all means of their career and the life that they've dedicated to the, American dream, and they're told that they cannot be a part of something that they feel like they should have access to. This is also visible in the Wilson Davis memo, the story where Eric Davis got this transcript from, I guess, is Admiral Wilson talking to an undisclosed party in a parking lot about the legacy program, about the reality of it. And he's told that, yes, it's real and you can't have it. You're not allowed. It's super top secret and you need to drop this. And I bet that made Admiral Wilson pretty mad too, because I think he was also threatened that if he didn't drop it, it would be a problem. So think of how that is, right? There's always jockeying, even when you're on the same team. There's always jockeying for climbing up the ladder and trying to get more success in the intel community and the military community. And surprisingly, I think that jockeying has led to some of the disclosures. My hypothesis is that some of this new guard is willing to use a controlled form of disclosure to try and pry open the cookie jar. And I think that they're beginning to succeed, and that I don't know if they planned on it going all the way to Congress, but Congress has power, and now it's gotten all the way to the president. Can the president open the cookie jar and hand out the cookies? And will the Silicon Valley tech lords be able to get their hands in the cookie jar? I think that's the phase that we're currently in, and that's what we're preparing for. But
Well,
there's
Donald
a
Trump's
larger...
known to have his hands in the cookie jar. Grab him by the pussy, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, terrible jokes, people. Didn't mean to cut you off either. Just
No,
saw the
that's good.
opportunity.
I wanted to... Yes, I'm good. I that's what I wanted to say. It's a hypothesis. We'll see if it plays out like that, if they start passing around UFOs to more than the legacy people. But if you got anything, add it now. We'll start chugging through some of these clips here. What is it? Another 50-some videos? I think it went from 161 files, which was 28 videos in the first release. Then it went to 222 files. So
222.
Angel numbers.
The government's about 1111.
No, I bet Anna Paulina Luna did that. She's like, wait, no. Make sure the total number is 222.
Send the bat signal out to all the star seeds.
Yeah.
No, it is interesting. It's almost like I was telling you about earlier when we were doing our pre-stream. Shout out to Jeremy Corbell on the Weaponized podcast. Awesome dudes over there. They just had Dylan Borland on, and awesome conversation. But ultimately, what it comes down to is we need whistleblower protection, because these are very serious matters. This is like, imagine leaking nuclear submarine secrets. We're developing a top secret nuclear submarine, and then you get caught leaking that blueprint to China or Russia. You're going to do some time. You're going to get in some big trouble. This is like that, but times a million more, you know? If you get caught divulging this kind of stuff, this is top secret. You're going to do time. You might even disappear, and your family might disappear, you know? And the people who run these programs literally control the military. There's no one that controls them. They're like the Wild West. They're like cowboys, not cosmic cowboys, but they're like cowboys. And they just run around doing what they want, make people disappear when they want to. These are companies that act with no government oversight. These are private companies, private public companies. They're a weird relationship called FFRDCs, federally funded research and development centers. It's like Battelle Memorial Institute, Lawrence Livermore National Laboratories, Sandia National Laboratories, Los Alamos. All of these top secret laboratories have compartmentalization protocols that are, oh my God, they will compartmentalize your own asshole from your own eyes, you know, to the point where you cannot see it. It's insane. And these guys have so much money and power. Even if you legally try to say whistleblowers have protection, these guys operate outside the law. So I think that's the scariest aspect of it. People who do have insight onto these programs, they really don't want to come forward, because do you want to go to jail for 50 years? Do you want your wife and kids to not have a father? Like, nobody's going to come forward and do that. So until we get protection, I don't think anybody's going to really talk. And even if we get protection, I don't know if people are going to talk. So we're in a really hard phase right now. I don't know how to deal with it. I mean, who knows? Half of these videos that they release, they look like regular drones. They don't even look like actual UFOs. So it's like, what's really going on here? Are we really going to get anything, or are they just going to keep giving us Project Blue Balls, you know?
Yeah, and that's probably honestly the code name for the deep state's release of this, Project Blue Balls. But again, I don't like to harp too much on like they're never gonna give it to us, because I do sincerely believe that there are some sleeping dogs working on this project, meaning disclosure activist. And, you know, that's Jeremy Corbell's documentary name that was made about him. And I mean, that's true. Anyone who's been an OG in the UFO field has like, they're kind of heroes. I mean, we're talking about our place in the cosmos. Like, hello, like what other what's the greatest cause other than the question of like the purpose of life itself, and pushing forward that like the public presence of we want to know and we need to know, we already know. Some of these people have been saying we already know. We don't need the government to tell us, but
Yeah.
we would
I
like
mean,
the
we
government to
didn't need it.
participate in our disclosure that
Check
we've
this
already
out.
started. What
We
is
got
that?
this right here. I don't know. Something that came out not from the government.
Ooh. Secret contact case to be revealed later in the show. But no, disclosure has been happening for epochs, ages long. One thing we like to point out on the channel is that it's, right now it's the nuts and bolts that can prove to you that aliens are real, you could say, unless you have like a very personal experience that where you met an alien or got contacted, got abducted. But after the nuts and bolts factor, we like to say that the UFO and NHI topic is most intimately connected and visible within the different world religions. And we actually consider
By far.
pretty much every religion is based on some sort of contact case. And sometimes it's just one contact point, maybe like the Dogon tribe, where some alien beings land and spend some time with them, and they teach them about the Pleiades star system, and they draw these maps on their walls, and they give them like this story.
The dolphin people come out.
The dolphin people, yeah. That's a contact case that formed and influenced their belief systems there in the Dogon tribe. And it's actually, you could say, revelatory knowledge, meaning that it wasn't something that those peoples just like made up because they believed in ghosts and spirits. It was because they had a real contact case. And so extrapolate that to all these other religions and you go, wow, how many of these
Gabriel
events?
visiting Mary.
Yeah. Gabriel visiting Mary and being like, you're going to have a hybrid. Call him Emmanuel.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. She didn't get that memo. But yeah, there's been a lot of contact cases throughout history. And like you said, the world's religions are one of the best avenues to look at when you're trying to figure out which contact cases existed. I mean, if you look at the Chris Bledsoe case, it's hand by hand, side by side, the same testimony as one of the saints that the Vatican recognizes. So it's going pretty deep. It makes sense. I was reading it. Remember, me and Taylor were up late night on the phone, like always, and I was reading some website. I think it was you, or I was talking to someone else. I forget. But this guy was talking about the kingdom of heaven and how it should be actually recognized as the cosmos. The heavens was a term for the universe, and when people died, early Christians, they believed when they died they were going somewhere else in the universe, like a different star system. It was a very obviously a unique and niche case. His argument was niche, but I found his book just perusing the internet, and it's exactly what we say: the kingdom of heaven. Jesus Christ talked about the kingdom of heaven. Back then, they didn't have the term universe; they called the universe the heavens. They didn't have the term government; they said kingdom. So, kingdom of heaven literally is the universal government, the galactic federation. That is what Jesus came and represented, and that's what all these other entities come and represent. And the weird thing is that there's kind of a standing law, kind of like Star Trek. I know I'm just beating a dead horse, but these beings, they can only interfere with species that are of the same evolutionary stage as them or higher. You're not allowed to interfere with the species that is of a lower evolutionary stage than you, because you have to let them evolve organically. Because of this, the good ones, the positive ones, the ones with really advanced technology and advanced spirituality, the ones who can warp drive to Orion, but also can astral project into another dimension at will. They can do both things. They have high technology and high mental spiritual powers. Those beings, they're not going to contact us because of that galactic rule. You can't interfere with us, the prime directive. When a being starts interacting with us, then that's when you start getting a red flag. Like, okay, why is this being interacting with us? Sometimes these beings are breaking cosmic law to interact with us, and they're doing it in order to influence us in a negative way. And that's why these laws are set up, so that we don't get influenced in a negative way. But not all contact cases, like I'm saying, are of negative entities. There are a lot of cases such as the Gabriel, Jesus, Melchizedek, Anunnaki, Adam and Eve. Those were divinely mandated, or I guess they got the stamp, they got the certification from the universe higher ups to say you can go on the planet and tinker for a bit if you want to. Beings that don't get that certification, you have to beware of them. And I fear that our government is in bed with some of those entities. And that's why it's such a hush hush subject.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah.
I guess you were talking about some of Timothy Alberino's quotes, which he's deep into the UFO religion crossover, and he kind of makes the case that the kingdom of heaven is a civilization, and that this is actually seen within the Elohim talk within the Old Testament and everything. And he says that the scriptures refer to the citizens of this celestial civilization as angels, which angel, is not really a type of being. It's just like meaning messenger. So like something about these beings that humans have observed in the past and written down is that sometimes these beings of light pop up. They're like, do not be afraid. And then they give a message. And that's one sort of contact, which is reoccurring. And multiple religions, claim this type of light being, coming, bringing messages. Sometimes they even sort of believe that was God like that was actually God.
Yeah.
I would say, it probably is more like a lower light being, bringing a message on behalf of the growth of humanity. But yeah, that's kind of the route that we go, deep into the celestial hierarchies. And that's not to say that we're definitely not in the camp that says, all the aliens are demons and angels. In fact, we have to continually pitch that aliens and angels are two very different classes and creations which have different purposes and origins. And, when we get to words, the government's using this term non-human intelligence because they don't want to be too specific, because when you're writing laws about disclosure, the CIA can do some wordmancy and be like, well, we don't know that they're extraterrestrials, so we don't have to disclose what we have on extraterrestrials.
Exactly.
So,
they're
playing
us about extraterrestrials. We don't have any extraterrestrial but we do have NHI documents. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, everyone's playing wordmancy, but the point is that like aliens, as I would classify them, is like beings that have these material, mortal bodies which don't live forever. They have a decay, a half-life, and they sort of are the highest animals. They're the animal creatures with free will, self-consciousness, but they have the capability to actually survive and resurrected into the afterlife. And the angelic civilization, they are actually the gardeners of this process. They oversee it, and they sort of take us like little baby souls off the planet and put us on another planet after we die. So that's kind of some of the angle. That's a top level overview. Should we get into some of the videos?
Yeah, let's get into that. One thing you did say in the very beginning, the gimbal go fast video, I forget which one. I think it's the gimbal video. When I very first saw that video, dude, I went, that's a lens flare. And immediately I go, that's a lens flare. And then I kind of like stopped saying that because, I want to get hyped up. You want to don't be a disbeliever. You're a naysayer, But the more I look at it, the more I'm like, dude, it's a fucking lens flare. It looks like it. Because like you're a photographer, you've seen those lens flares. They look exactly like that circular disc with a point in the center. And then as you move your camera, it'll also shift depending on your angle at it. So I don't know. I didn't have the tab pulled up right now because unfortunately my computer got hacked. Shout out to the hackers out there. Shout out to Chris Ramsey. It wasn't his fault. No, his account got hacked. He sent me a message and I'm like, "What's up, Chris? I'll help you out." He's like, "Can you download this game I'm developing?" I'm like, "Sure." I downloaded the game. They hacked my fucking computer. and now I'm on a phone right now, so that sucks. If you get a message from me on Discord or something weird, don't answer it. I'm trying to ask you to help develop a video game. Don't answer it. But I'm on a phone right now, and it sucks. So I can't pull anything up. So Taylor,
I
I don't know
got
if you have
the
anything up. Do
Go
you have the
Fast for you. Yeah, I got the
Go
gimbal and the
Fast?
Go
Wait,
Fast videos here. So
which one is it?
the OG.
Okay, it's not this one. It's the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Go Fast, and it just
Okay.
looks like a thing. I know. Honestly, it's very similar to what we're seeing in these drops.
I was about to say it's the same shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool audio though.
yeah. Oh, it's kind of like the One Small Step for Man audio for the UFO world.
Yeah.
So there's that, and that one doesn't do anything interesting. You know what's funny? They didn't redact all this because it didn't go through the formal process. It was sort of, I guess, allegedly snuck in out on a USB or something. Christopher Mellon and Lou Elizondo scheming. And then this was the gimbal video. These are the ones that came out in 2017.
Yeah.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
And then you hear that voice? That's David Fravor, my dad's classmate. Yeah, see, if you look at it, see how it's that disc with the spike in the center? If you just Google any lens flare, the first thing that pops up, it looks exactly like that. It happens a lot, especially in your rear view cameras. If anybody's seen that, you turn on your rear view camera and the sun's at the right angle, it's that exact same phenomenon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do, but I guess I'm wondering.
I'm not saying that is what it is, but it's something to put on the table, and I never hear anybody say it. And I never hear anybody say it. I'm like,
can it be a lens flare and an object?
A lens flare, but it could. It could be an object radiating in the fifth dimension that gives a lens flare appearance. I'm not a master.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of again. What we need is better videos. They're giving us what I would say the bottom of the barrel, and that's how that's what maybe you could say the pessimists say, or those who have been looking at this topic for such a long time, and the Congress people are telling us there's better videos, and that they're trying to get those better videos in these releases. So I don't know. So far though, this second release is a little bit more interesting than the first one. Let's look at the first clip here.
See, we got something in the chat. Jabwai asked us if we've ever had any UFO contact experiences. And yeah, quite a few. I won't reveal all of them because you'll think I'm crazy. But yeah, quite a few. I don't know if you want to reveal any, Taylor.
I'll
say one actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
A younger one. I was like 12 or 13. I was young, and me and all my friends in the neighborhood, we all wake up in the morning, ride our bikes around, play football, play basketball. Group of 10, 12 neighborhood boys, ages from 7 up to 14, 15. And that was 12, 13. We were up playing basketball at my friend Nolan's house. He had a house on the very top of the hill. And it was a big hill. We used to bomb down it on our bike, and we get so much speed, dude. Some kids would wipe out, get road rash. It was terrible. It was nighttime. We were done playing basketball. I'm riding my bike home. I live down this big hill and probably 4 houses to the right. So once the hill ended, you can take a right, and I'm 4 houses down. So 2.5 minute bike ride, not far at all. I'm getting on my bike, and his basketball court was in the backyard, and I get on my bike and I ride down his driveway, and I go into the cul-de-sac, and I start going down the hill. And as I'm looking down to go down the cul-de-sac, I'm on top of the hill because I'm about to go down the hill. I look up straight, and it almost seemed directly in front of me because the hill is going downwards and this thing is floating. I would say about not that far, dude. Maybe 400 yards away, 300, 400 yards away, up in the air. It was just the classic craft, but it was dark outside, and you can see the oval, and then I guess yellow running lights around it. And I just lost my breath a little bit because I'm picturing it in my mind. And when I saw it, I lost my breath a little bit, and I was like, and I got the goosebumps, and I remember saying, "Oh no, oh no, oh no," and I got scared. And I remember bombing that hill so fast, trying to get home. And when I made that turn, I remember feeling it kind of behind me. I'm like, "Don't look at it, don't look at it." And I got into my house, and I'm writing down. I take the turn, to the right, and my house is about 4 houses down. I remember feeling it behind me and saying, I'm gonna, like, don't look at it. And then I don't remember anything. And I remember waking up in my bed the next day. And I thought about it when I woke up, and I was like, oh, that was weird. But I felt like warm and fuzzy, like I had a great night's sleep, so I didn't really trip. And that was when it all began. No, not really, but it was one of the good ones. So.
That's wild. Yeah, I actually just heard that story. I think since I moved to Memphis, and I didn't know about that. About D-Bake. And yeah, he's right. He said earlier, he doesn't want to say it because it'll sound crazy, and that's how a lot of people feel. I feel the same way. I'll open up since the altar call has been spoken, but yeah, like these types of contact experiences, they like. There's a little, at some point you're like, man, I should tell somebody. But then immediately you're also like, I should tell no one because it's only real to me in a way. Things that don't occur in daily life and are repeatable to like a bunch of people around you that don't have a consensus reality. If you talk about them, people label you as crazy. And it's like almost unnecessary. It's like, why would I want to do that? Why would I subject myself to that? But yeah, so this is my first, I guess, definitive UFO experience. Really started because when I was like 17, 18, listening to UFO podcast, my worldview was changing. I was getting introduced to all these concepts, realizing that, Hollywood UFOs comes from real UFO contact cases. Like they just take those stories, extrapolate, do some storylining, make it dramatic, and then they make movies about it. And yeah, I was like, whoa, this is actually a legitimate topic. Like people are having real experiences. And, fast forward maybe a year after getting into those podcasts, I'm out in Arizona studying audio engineering. I get introduced to flotation therapy tanks, and that's like an introduction to meditation. I'm looking at some of the Eastern mind, body, spirit tools and yoga teachings, doing some meditation. And then I find a YouTube video from a guy named Ryan Cropper who's like talking about out-of-body experiences and that you can induce them without any sort of drugs and anything. And I was like, whoa, out-of-body experience, like what is that? Like I thought that was just in Stranger Things. I thought that was just like a thing in there. And remember, I'm getting introduced to both flotation therapy and out-of-body remote viewing psychic stuff at the same time. And that's like Stranger Things was just popping at that time, like only a few years before that. And I'm like, oh, these are also real things. These aren't sci-fi concepts. This is like the fringe of human potential. And I was like, oh my God, like, I guess I'm going to try it. I'm only 18. When you're 18, you're not like that programmed to not believe things. You just want to try it for yourself and see if it's real. And lo and behold, I'm doing these like out of body tutorials and I was like, oh, it's real. And I had lucid dreams before that. So I had kept a dream journal for a couple of years before that without even knowing anything about the lucid dreaming community. But when I did these out-of-body exercises, it was immediately different than a lucid dream, and it was like a hyper-real experience. And my first time kind of laying down, I'm in my room, there's a air conditioner on, and I'm just doing this like meditation where you're supposed to like let your body fall asleep but keep your mind awake. And so you need some type of mantra or mental repetitive focus to keep your mind awake so that when you feel your body fall asleep, you can like pull the lever real quick to shift into the next gear. And I knew I was in that liminal space because the air conditioner sound in the room went from like a normal air conditioner to like standing next to a waterfall, right? It's like loud. Okay. It's like... And when I was there,
you were
I started
like immersed in the noise because it just turned up super loud.
Yeah,
the ambient noise became super loud.
Definitely. And it also felt like my heart was gonna like it was beating. It felt like there was all this. Felt like my heart was gonna explode. It's like beating fast. And then also, I begin to rise, I feel like I'm floating out of my bed, which is the reverse sensation of kind of like when you're falling asleep and then you feel like you fall a couple like feet.
Mhm.
It's the reverse sensation of that, but like it's much more lucid because I went from being in this laying down meditation to the sound being loud to then like I'm feeling like I'm floating up. And all this time, I don't even have visuals. There's no visual sensation. It's just like it's like my eyes are closed and I feel it, which is very different from a dream. Dreams very rarely have like, you can feel objects and stuff, but you can't see anything. I don't know. Have you ever had a dream where your eyes are like closed or you can't see, but you're still like able to feel and explore things?
I don't think so. That sounds unique and scary.
Yeah, yeah, it's anomalous for sure. And so, to fast forward is that what I realize is that out of body kind of state is something that is sort of mental faculty that you can get to, and it's repeatable. And all your sense of reality is built on what is repeatable. And if you can repeat it multiple times and there's consistency to it, that becomes your reality. And so, that whole scientific method, you're using your observation to explore, but it's difficult because in these altered states of consciousness, sometimes it feels like you only have a couple seconds, and if you do anything extreme, you'll get knocked out of it, right? It's like a lucid dream in the sense that if you think too much or you think too hard, you'll like wake up. So you have to like recognize what you're in, but then like relax a bit and try and explore as much as you can.
It's hard, dude. So hard. Every time I get lucid, I get so excited, I wake up every time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, calm down. Stay calm. Stay calm.
So the out-of-body stuff is just like that. And it does cross over a bit with lucid dreaming in the sense that I think it is easy to confuse. If you're doing both exercises at the same time, sometimes you can confuse lucid dreams because you can go from a lucid dream into an out-of-body experience. But that whole field in and of itself, if you're studying that, you have to find ways to prove to yourself that it's real. And that's what I did. And so then fast forward like maybe 1 or 2 years after that, I had a conscious, out of body experience where I separated from my body. I was in Tennessee at the time. But instead of like waking up in the room that I was falling asleep in, I woke up in the house that I grew up in as a child. And it was the room that I spent the most time in as a child, right? And when I woke up, everything was like hyper real. I look out the window and there's these like circular rings of color. There's multiple rings they look like, I don't know, like a plasma, or like a hologram, and they're just floating there. And I look out and the color was just so insane and interesting. But I look down into my backyard and I see a small pond, which is not there. There's no small pond. And then I see three, I guess what I would describe as tall gray beings. But
shit.
Their faces...
Gray aliens or gray beings?
Aliens. They didn't look human. They had gray type skin, but when I looked at their face, it was not like the typical gray. It was a little bit different. Still had the black eyes. Okay. And we're talking like a distance. I'm on the second floor. And again, remember
black eyes?
Yeah, the black-eyed peas. This is an out-of-body experience. It's, very personal. It's real to me, but it's not necessarily real to other people, and that's why it's confusing to describe. But I look down there, I see these three beings, humanoids, quite clearly. Like I said, this is like one of my top 10 hyper-real out-of-body experiences. And I look down, and then I'm just like looking out the window, and I feel like this sense of kid-like wonder. And you are in an altered state, so you're not thinking like entirely normal process. You're not over-analyzing things. It's like everything's new, everything's exciting. So I'm looking, and one of these three beings like separates from their body, and they look like a green ghost. And they fly up to the second floor window that I'm in and begin like a conversation. I actually lose most of my like visual because the state of attention, in this is, it's hard to pay attention to things because it's almost like, I mean, if you've ever been on any type of drug, immediately you notice how your attention and you're kind of loose in how you pay attention. Altered states that don't include drugs are still very similar, meaning your state of attention is hard. But anyway, we had a conversation. They said some weird things like, they had to wait to contact me until I was like old enough, and then I didn't really ask many questions. I was just like, okay, sure. And yeah, that was it. I didn't really learn anything specific. I don't really tell the story as if I'm an experiencer because I was consciously doing projections. No one like did this to me. It wasn't somebody else's fault. And yeah, I guess, it made me want to be like, wow, how do we use this astral projection state to meet these beings and have like longer conversations, and actually figure out what's happening? But that's a different field. That's the psychic PhD field, which I think we're very interested in. But that's my alien contact experience, for what it's worth.
It makes sense. Like if they exist in that plasma state or the Mirancha state, for the viewers and listeners out there, when we say Mirancha, we're taking it from the Urantia contacts. These high angels say that when you die, you don't go directly to spirit status. There's an intervening stage, material and spirit, but the intervening stage is called Mirancha. And they say it's like 40% matter, 60% spirit commingled, or 30% matter, 70% spirit, in different mixtures up until you get 100% spirit status, and you get that stamp in the universe. We like to say Mirancha is, you can picture it as plasma. Okay. If you want to see the closest form of plasma in our dimension, look at like fire. Fire is a cool way to think of it. That's why all the biblical angels, it looked like they had tongues of fire coming off of them. When you think in your mind, like think of a shoe, think of a cup, that picture in your mind, those are photons. That's plasma. That's a type of plasma. So if those beings are in a ship existing in the Mirancha plasma state, it might be easier to contact them if you go into your Mirancha plasma state, because you'll readily be able to meet them as opposed to trying to approach them in your physical body. So that's just another technique of being able to communicate with these beings, because how can they communicate with you if they're not physical? They'd be like, damn it, I can't get to them because I don't know what it's like to be physical. And we can be like, oh, well, we're physical, but we can actually reach out into the Mirancha, so let us come to you. But we're just untrained in that manner.
Yeah, and Kelly commented here, I've had some bizarre dreams where I'm going through the wall and I get stuck, LOL.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that's an interesting comment
that's
because
happened to me, dude.
Yeah, and think of it like this. If you're lucid dreaming and it really is just all in your head, why can't you go through the wall? Isn't it just a matter of belief? Is it just a self-limiting belief that makes you not go through the wall? Or are you actually, are some of our dreams actually, you could say, our consciousness energy, our electron body, actually sort of exploring, and there's still rules in that reality. Some people think out of body is, you're just infinite, you're an infinite God soul. That's not true. There's tons of rules there, meaning like there's physics and energy physics that are happening there. You can't just do anything. And walking through walls is something that I've noticed where you can feel that matter, and it takes like conscious attention to like, I do like a thing where I breathe. I feel like I'm breathing, and then I like try and feel the wall, and then I can start to pass through. But yeah, that's a good example of like, we are naturally tapping into this state very often, but there's a lot more that we can do with these psionics, which apparently, even the U.S. government uses to do contact experiences and try and get UFOs. But on this channel, we're gonna teach you. We're gonna teach you how to use that for your mind, body, spirit progress. How to use that to, give some fist bumps to some aliens and let go of a lot of the narratives that come from secondhand accounts, so that you can have your own experience and be like, wow, I have much more potential than I realize. And these aliens are actually our equals. They are, as the 1960s would have put it, space brothers and sisters. And they're just like, I mean, you could look at it like another country. It's a consolidated group of free will beings who have their own dreams, hopes, and fears and reasons for being here. And we as humans have a responsibility to cultivate these relationships and make sure that they're, I guess, mutually beneficial.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Another cool concept I was playing around with, and not even me, but I was listening to someone else speak, and they said it. And I was like, oh, interesting. They said that we're actually more of a symbiotic being or a composite being. Once you realize what you truly are, you're going to realize you're not just a singular being. You're a composite of entities. And that I was like, oh shit, you're right, because we have guardian angels that follow us in our entire cosmic career. And they're going to be like our kind of our cosmic parents, teaching us the steps along the way. And they lead you and bring you to different star systems. These are your seraphim or the seraphic hosts. They're a specific type of pattern angel being. They're not material evolutionary beings like us who evolved from the evolutionary struggle. They're made to pattern, directly already made, fully grown. And they don't really look like us, but they're very near us in mind. We think a lot alike and we have similar personalities. They enjoy our humor, but they're a lot smarter than us. And they, like I said, they help guide us in our cosmic ascent. They're kind of like our cosmic teachers. In a sense, we become like a symbiotic being, a composite being, because these beings follow us all the way to the Father, and we like kind of we don't fuse with them, but we kind of become fused with them. We become like eternal working partners. So you have to kind of think of yourself as not a singular organism. You're like a symbiotic organism, and you're eventually going to cultivate like a relationship with other beings that you live, breathe, eat, shit and sleep with, the seraphic hosts and your thought adjuster. And also, I see Gino in the chat saying David Fravor saw it with his own eyes. You're right, he did see it with his own eyes. And you got to trust the man. Like I said, my father went to school with him at the Naval Academy. He was dorm or classmates. They were like one dorm down the hallway from each other. And then he said David Fravor was in charge of the honor committee for the Naval Academy. So the Naval Academy, one of the most prestigious military schools in the world. All the Marine Corps and Navy officers go to the Naval Academy. If you go to the Army, if you're an Army officer, you go to the West Point. So Navy goes to Naval Academy, Army and Air Force, they go to West Point, the Army Academy. My dad said that the honor committee, if you get caught lying, cheating, or stealing in the Naval Academy, you get kicked out or get like a demerit on your record, and it looks bad for your entire military career. So David Fravor was in charge of the honor committee. So he was in charge of like processing people who they got caught stealing, which really shows and lends credence on how much of a stand-up guy he was. So you're right. He saw it with his own eyes. You cannot deny his testimony. It's good. It's legit. So that was just me thinking outside the box, like, looks like a lens flare. And that's what I want to do. Just try to put as much as we can on the table. So, but yeah, it is wild. We are living in insane times. I hope that we do push the envelope a little bit farther than just some glowing balls, glowing orbs on video cameras. Because I keep saying, a lot of the conversation is if aliens are real or not. And we need to kind of get past this as an entire species. You can kind of think about how the higher space beings can measure our planet. They can kind of scan our planet and they can get a measurement of, does 50% of the planet believe ETs are real? Or is it at 49%? Because if it goes to 51%, that's a breaking threshold point, and it allows them to spiritually do certain things. The red tape falls away once the majority of our people believe in a certain thing. So that's why desire is strong. The 51% of the people on planet Earth desire something, will to integrate with the Galactic Federation, then it's going to happen. The entire name of the game is to make it so that we're fractured, we're fighting each other, and we cannot unify our wills. That's the key into the Galactic Federation is will unification. Can we all unify our wills as one social memory complex on planet Earth? Can we get over the fact that we're different colors, that you have more doubloons than I do, you have more tokens than I do, so I want to kill you? Like, I'm not saying communism is the way. Freaking Taylor joins talking communism, space commies. But I'm just saying, like, we need. At first, I was saying the permission slip, the application into the Galactic Federation, is the unification of wills on planet Earth. Can we unify all of our wills together, or are we going to stay fractured and fragmented? Because we need to get to like a 51% threshold majority of planet Earth wanting to desire to join the Galactic Federation peacefully. And once we can get to that level, nothing will be able to stop it. The process will already be in motion for us to get there. So there's a lot of energy and power in the majority vote and the majority desires. So we need to get past this question of, are aliens real? And I feel like the powers that be want to keep the ball in the court of, are aliens real? And if they are real, they're a threat. And we need to get over those two little obstacles. And I think we can all make that leap of faith and be like, no, they're our cousins. They're our brothers. Let's grow together. So if we can all start adopting this mindset and having this be the premier concept in the forefront of everybody's minds, then we can get there closer, you know?
Yeah, and I think another part is that we need to get past the idea that technology means superiority. In a cosmic sense, okay, in a war sense, yes, that can be very true. Although there's different examples in history where one side may have the better technology, but a small group of, you could say, Spartans takes out 1,000, warriors, right? The power of the human spirit is true power, and our sense of integration here on Earth as we work together is far more powerful than we realize. If we had a unified will, and we didn't hide the fact that aliens are visiting, the people that would come out of the woodwork to actually work on this negotiation process, this handshake with the extraterrestrials, if everyone knew, if this was a known fact, there would be truly inspiring individuals rising up to advance the planet in these areas. But because we've kept it a secret, you could say you've neglected to allow the geniuses. That's kind of a way you could say it. You're neglecting to allow the geniuses to work on this issue because you've psyoped the public into believing it's not real. And that's on us, right? It's like it's like a problem contained within the military, and all they think about is technological, being outgunned technologically. But it's like, no, we are just as capable psionically, psychically, and if we were to change the worldview that people operate out of, we could actually all be working on this together. I like to say that this is sort of like a group project that everyone's been procrastinating on, but it's also been harder because one person was given the assignment letter for the group project, and they were supposed to deliver it to the rest of the group. And that's basically the government secret that they're keeping about UFOs, the military secret. They got the assignment letter handed in, and they didn't share with the rest of the group. Like, we're here on this planet. This is our spaceship, and you forgot to share the assignment and the due date with the rest of the people. And I actually wonder if some of the disclosure is being forced by a due date. Is there a due date on this project? Is some of the military program, you hear these rumors about 2027 to 2029, we're going to know for sure that aliens are real. There's some hints that it's almost like the aliens put a date on it, and they're like, we are going to show up by a certain date. You need to get your people prepared. And a part of me hopes that's true. I don't know if it is, but yeah, again, this is something we've procrastinated on for a while, and we need brilliant and brave individuals like these whistleblowers to help bring out the assignment letter of our cosmic reintegration and then start letting people work on the assignment instead of delaying the inevitable.
Amen. A freaking man, brother. That's right. So, you got another video? What's up?
Yeah, we just been talking. We ain't even get any of this. Let's play a couple.
Let's hit some of these
this,
videos. Yeah.
You're watching Planetary HQ, the headquarters for all your celestial broadcasts. And today we're here to bring you the assignment and to remind you of what you're doing here on this planet. So shout out to all the cosmic citizens. This first video, and the one that a lot of people are talking about, is what they're calling the Instant Acceleration UAP. So from 2021 here, and this is the original clip at 100% speed. So let's see what's going on. There's no audio, by the way. I could play some music for you in the background.
It's up to you. Don't get us a strike.
I forgot this is actually this is like unedited. I played this at the beginning. Okay, let me play it from right here. This is the original clip, and it starts out giving like a little bit of a larger view in terms of context. So here, this like flying over land, and they're locking on, trying to grab it. I wish they would show us how fast this is going. I don't know if that can be like interpolated here, but they blacked out all the controls. And then the video goes on to where it zooms in on this same object, and here it rises up and shoots off like the Star Enterprise. So, great clip. Very sci-fi. Probably the most sci-fi of the clips here. And then they kind of like slow it down and stuff. And yeah, what's up, Justin R? This is Chill of Hello from Nebraska. Shout out to Nebraska. So that's the first video that I have kind of bookmarked here. Let's keep going, see what's happening.
Yeah, this video, that one's all right. Looked cool, I guess.
Yeah. I want to imagine. Yeah. I want to imagine it's a warp drive, anti-grav, fast. So this one, sphere. Is it a sphere? Is it a disc? We don't really know, but it's kind of just floating in the clouds there, and I guess this movement is kind of interesting. Normally, you'd have to be like a helicopter or a drone to make it turn like that. And then here's the original video, kind of the full screen view, and you'll see it up here.
Oh, wow. Is that big? Is that mountains?
No, I think those are clouds. And I think what we saw is a flying burger. A flying nothing burger. No, just kidding. Yeah, so there's a cool video of a saucer shape. Glad that one made it into the cut. And shout out to Jeremy Corbell, who actually put that out before it was in this release. Yeah, he leaked that. Or I don't know if leak is the right term. Before it was formally declassified from all their military sources. So this is just a long shot. A lot of them are kind of like this. It kind of just looks like a white dot from far away. It's probably impressive if you know how fast it's going, but we don't. This one's kind of cool because you do see two of them. So literally two space brothers maybe right there flying around. Just got 3D printed from the mobile construction unit. What up? Taking a little test flight. And let's see, keep rolling here. It's a couple like cargo ship videos, and then it's just like something that's flying goes by. This one's decently interesting.
Looks like the Venezuela boats video.
So they're switching, I guess, between like different inversion light modes. And this one has this like light, these flashing kind of lights going on. It also almost looks like it's morphing a bit. But, you know, is that an artifact of this being 480p? or is this really the highest quality we have? This is also, I can tell, this is like a zoomed in version. They stabilize this. That's interesting. I think they maybe they include the raw video. Actually, no, they don't. So this is like, that's probably how they redacted it as well. They just zoomed it in, did a stabilization, and then they didn't have to black out a bunch of controls. So let's see. Here's another like white orb looking thing, and look at the size based on
lazy bums.
Yeah, based on the buildings. I don't know how. I guess your phone's pretty small, but that looks pretty small.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
you
like.
Think so? That looks big. It's like a compound.
No, I'm talking about this white object, the flying object. Like how big would you say that is in terms of this building?
Tiny.
That's probably like
let's see here.
Not even as big as a car.
No, it's like a freaking basketball. I don't know.
So yeah, is it a boogosphere? A boogawooga? Gotta test the sap coming off of it to see if it's 12,000 years old.
See if we got fiber optic cables.
Yeah. Ooh, that's kind of a cool shot. Is that the water's like right there? Or is that just the sky maybe?
Good question. Oh, that's sky, right?
Yeah, they like blacked something out.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
The entire freaking video.
So maybe this is from the Orb working group. That what's that guy's name?
Like that. I forget, but I know that's like the party that Anna Paulina Luna's working with to get some videos out, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, there's a close up.
Yeah, was that what they were going for? Is that the video? Yeah. Ooh, interesting.
Wow, it's really hard to see. It almost looks like it's blurring across multiple frames. Unless that is one solid object.
In the very beginning, the first 3 frames will look like a U for a second, but it could be distortion from the lens. I'm not sure.
Uh-oh, there's a face. I don't know. There's a face machines. In the clouds. That's the real NHI.
There it is.
We just start doing drawing like, look, there's a face here if you draw the lines.
Oh, man. Have you seen those accounts that just post pictures of clouds? And they're like, look, can you see? It's an angel following me. Yeah. And you're like, what's going on here, dude? Sorry if you're listening to this and that's you, but I just don't understand. There's a lot of those accounts and YouTube channels too, and they're just videotaping clouds. And they're like, look, it's an angel, it's beautiful. And you're like, what the fuck? Am I missing something here?
This one's got 2 orbs in it. I just realized that. So this is kind of cool because I would say this is also the first set of videos that show like moving other than a straight line. Even that gimbal video, it's like you can see it rotating, but it doesn't like move other than what looks like a straight line. So here, this one's zooming across. Here's another one but it already is making a turn. That thing made a turn. Are these Ashton's orbs? Call up Mr. Forbes. Shout out to Ashton Forbes, the OG.
Do you recognize these, Ashton?
The MH370 videos may be the most interesting UFO videos ever for multiple reasons. They're certainly better than the videos that are in here in terms of like better quality, more interesting things happening. And here's the colored videos that we talked about them putting in this release.
Ooh, nice.
Looks like still just like the same kind of small white orb types. And yeah, Kelly says, I think our experiences are so much cooler than those shitty vids. I hear you. Amen. But again, you know, I like to be, I want to be optimistic with it. I don't want to sound like I'm just complaining about, because there's, I guess there's been a lot of effort and work that has gone into getting these videos released. But can Congress and the president push it further to get to the real meat and potatoes, or are they going to be, I guess I heard someone say the UFO files has 10 million documents or 10 million files.
10 million.
And I forget where exactly that quote's from, but I was like, are they going to drown us in like 1,000 more of these videos? Like
I guarantee it.
When, you know, the Department of War goes to the different agencies and like, give us your UFO videos, they probably have 1,000 videos like this that they start with, and they're like, okay, give them those videos.
Exactly, not the good stuff. They're not going to show you the good stuff.
Right. That's why, like, Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp and journalists like that who are working directly with whistleblowers who are like, hey, I'm going to show you a video. Here's where the video exists. If we can get that declassified, that's going to push the ball forward because it's much more interesting.
Exactly.
You know, if we leave it up to the agencies to give us their most interesting files without like knowing what they have, you know, they could just give us this all day long, which
they're going to.
They didn't say much.
They don't have to. They don't have to give us the best, you know. This one's wild.
Yeah, I don't even think this isn't the Flying Man one, but this one is geometric. That's interesting. Ooh, here's what I'm seeing: alien gray head on a speeder bike.
That's Casper.
Casper, the friendly NHI. I do like to imagine that some of these are like humanoid figures piloting something. One of them down the line is going to be...
This is going to be used in their galactic court case. Like, so we have video footage of you flying in an unrestricted planet, uncloaked.
This is cool because there in 2017, that gimbal video, they were like, there's a whole fleet of them, but they didn't show the fleet. And everyone's like, how crazy was the fleet? Was it interesting? And they're like, we didn't show you the fleet. Sorry, we only got this. And so they are including the fleets.
Is that the fleet? Oh,
they're including the fleets in these releases. I noticed.
So they're in V formation.
Yeah,
look at that. I mean, see, that's even sketchier right there, showing human technology.
Unless the aliens also fly V formation.
Yeah, that the gimbal. Yeah, I mean, the gimbal, Lockheed Martin, and all them things, the Tic Tac that was involved in the Fravor and the cap point and all that stuff, that was FFRDCs, you know, contractors
Lockheed,
testing, Lockheed testing equipment against our own fighters to see what would happen, how they would react. And then knowing that, then if they were made by humans, then they would obviously go into some type of formation pattern when traveling. So
yeah, I hear
you know, geese travel in V formation too, you know, so it's not just humans, but
yeah. Now I guess this could, I wonder if this is the orb technology that humans actually own, the gravitic orbs that the Tesla bomber even talked about, gravitic propulsion, space race between the different countries. So, you know, a group, there's more than 4 here. All right, so keep going. This one is the interesting one that people are saying looks like a Superman. So I kind of see, okay, so it's flying over maybe like, this could be water or some kind of surface.
Blurry lens, man. And we also need to figure out what kind of machines they're taking on, you know? Like, I'm a photographer, you're a photographer, videographers. I want to know what kind of lens I'm shooting on. I want to know what the f-stop is, what's the exposure set to. We know none of this stuff right now, so it kind of sucks. Like, if this is a tiny little lens on a tiny sensor, it's way different than a large sensor, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean shapes can get totally blown out just based on how the lens is focused,
Mm-hmm.
what the different settings are. But this is the one that is catching some attention. It looks
The
like it's
instant
rotating. No, the instant was the first one we looked at. This is
first one. Okay.
I think
Oh, this
people
is
are
the one
calling
that
this
I
the
like.
flying person. They're
Yeah,
saying
this is
that
crazy, dude.
this is the head, this is their legs, and
Ooh.
I guess it's moving pretty fast. I mean, they're like zooming in and out. But it also kind of
Yeah, it
reminds
looks
me
like
of the jellyfish video.
it does remind me of the jellyfish. Does it go instantaneous right there at the end? Is that
I don't
flash, or is
think
that just
so.
like it cutting to a different scene?
It's zooming
But
out.
either way, it's weird. It looks like a chain of plasma jelly that's just like hovering. And you're right. I don't know if that's parallax, but it looks like it's going really fast. But the background's floating. But
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple points here where it's zoomed quite further out, and it still looks like it's kind of booking it. But
is that
it's
the
hard
same
to
one that
tell.
people are matching up with the other video that's in color?
Yeah, yeah, and I do have let's see, I do have this up.
So people are watching this video and they're actually referencing a different video that was posted to YouTube not too far ago. Or was it actually like a long time ago, 19 years ago maybe? Maybe it was a long time ago.
Yeah,
But
I'll
before
share my
AI,
screen and we'll check it.
they look exactly the same and you're like, "Oh, geez." But this one's in full color and it looks like if you could do CGI for a movie, like an ascended master, a Buddhist guy, like coming in and out of our dimension, you can kind of see his body, but he's shimmering, kind of not. It looks kind of gnarly.
Yeah. So this is from 10 years ago from this JC Aerial Anomalies, who has some really great videos, and they're doing
Yeah, they're awesome.
like a lot of crowd. I guess they get a lot of people together and do I think some type of CE5. They're saying that they're using their thoughts to actually, invite these things in. And this video is one of their best videos that looks very similar.
Actually, I don't know.
God, I can't even see it. What the hell is wrong with
No, it's straight up and down. No, it has something on the side, Robert.
Oh, it's wild.
Oh,
Yeah? Uh-oh, Iron Man, sorry.
So yeah, I mean, the shape is kind of humanoid. There, you can kind of see a good example of what it's like when they defocus a lens and focus in.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the New Jersey drone
What is
orbs
that?
had a similar like scintillation like this, but they were more spherical.
It's one straight up
Well,
and down,
Stephen
it's
Greer
still
has been
down.
saying since like the 90s that the TR-3B and all of our advanced propulsion systems have the ability to project a plasma field around them that distorts camera lenses. So you can't see. You just look at like a shimmering ball of light. But this weird plasma shield, like it just fucks with the sensor so you can't see behind it.
Yeah, I mean, this thing's up there for a long time. I think it is something there that's in the atmosphere. It doesn't seem to be, they got a full 2 minutes, but, how much can we infer from that? There are some other interesting
Well,
videos.
I mean, if it's not an alien, what the fuck is it? What would that thing be? Like, what the fuck? If I were to fly up to it right now and get face to face, what would I be seeing?
Yeah.
Like we need drones for these occasions so we can get up close to that thing.
Right. And, this one might not be as interesting. This one is, 12 years ago. I don't know if they changed the name or if this was the original name from 12 years ago, but they say interdimensional being summoning event with revised morphing angel orb. And this is very
Nice.
similar to the Bledsoe Skywatches.
Skywatches,
Seeing a
yeah.
lot of the similar
CE5s.
things. This is in LA in 2014. But I mean,
Getting after it early.
Another like point to make from this is that
Whoa, that was weird. You see that rotation in tandem?
no, I missed it.
Like rotated in tandem, locked, and then went away. Look like, see, boom, stops. Oh no, it doesn't really stop. Never mind. But it did a rotation around it.
there's videos in the public sphere that are more interesting and even more detailed than the military releases. And we just found
What's going to
this
be cooler
channel.
than the military releases is when people realize that when you die, you wake up at the left star of Orion's belt, dude. And when you go there, you're going to see all your best friends and family that already passed on. You're going to die there. And if you have kids, you're going to be able to watch how they're doing down there. Not send any messages back here, but you'll be able to watch them. And then when they die and come up to Orion, you'll be there waiting with open arms. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be like, that's going to be the coolest thing once we all realize, oh shit, we wake up somewhere when we die.
Oh, this
Now
one's
that's
crazy.
It looks like a guy in Lotus position.
Yeah. And this is the one that they're calling the Angel.
Mm-hmm. Look at the Merkaba, dude. It's like
yeah,
a guy
you can see the
meditating in a
pointed
Merkaba.
stars. Wow.
And it's like pulsating, man. That's insane. He's just a guy that can't, like, resting here for a bit. He's like, yeah, on an intergalactic billion-year journey, figured I'd just rest on your ranch for a bit. Oh, sorry, I wasn't told that this form scares you guys. My bad. I mean, that looks like plasma right there, just energy plasma. If you look at all the biblical records of them meeting angels and having prophetic visions, they always are like beings of whole light beings, tongues of fire, plasma. I mean, that's exactly what that looks like right there.
Yeah. And
Jesus was a UFO
there.
commander. That's pretty dope.
The bag anomaly.
See, that's what I was saying when I watched it first. You saw me. I was like, oh my God, what is that? It's like a diamond Merkaba. Then I was like, or a plastic bag. One of the two.
Yeah. But it does look very similar to their other videos of those shapes, the one that looked like a being. Like it's got the same kind of scintillation. And so it's just the fact that it looks kind of like a square where it's like, is it a bag? Or I was saying that it's an angel twiddling its thumbs.
Well, now that you look at it, it does look like two balls revolving around each other, like in an orbit. Interesting.
Yeah, I bet this is like a basic cosmic geometric concept that any like advanced technological civilization would be like, oh, they're using the
Vesica Pisces.
Yeah, the Vesica Pisces rotational orbital advance with the plasma interconnect.
Yeah, very nice. These guys are good. These guys are advanced. Because Vesica Pisces, that's the first shape for sacred geometry, the two circles, the Venn diagram.
Yeah, and I wonder if a mathematician or geometrist could actually take the way that it's moving or stabilize it and then map the points and then find out that it's actually drawing a flower of life.
Yeah, oh man. Get Robert Edward Grant on the phone right now.
Yeah, if you map all those points, it's like maybe it's drawing like a 3D shape. That could be a Merkaba type shape. I bet we could do that. We could probably map these frames and try and like...
It looks like it's making a Vesica Pisces with two orbs and they're spinning on each other.
Yeah.
I mean, we play that video a lot. We haven't in a while, but of that liquid water drop suspended in an acoustic standing wave, and they play it like something hurts and it's just like a single water drop, and they bump it up to like 32 hertz and it creates a Vesica Pisces. They bump it up to 64 hertz and it creates like the triangle. Ooh, always bring it back to my all-time favorite.
Oh yeah, baby. Now this...
The plasma looks a lot like this plasma.
Yes, very much like this.
And this video is stamped. Okay, this is real. This is the only real one that we confirm. No, you can't confirm anything, but we have heavy belief in this one being the Seraphim.
Yeah, this one is very clearly...
Oh shit, my phone's about to die. Probably gonna have to get off headset.
That's cool. Video. Your other mic sounds okay. It's honestly not that bad. Think of how a lot of these orbs are further off in the sky, And I noticed that some people's videos, you can't actually see these points of light as like a Merkaba shape. And in this video, it's even clearer because they don't seem to be that far in the atmosphere. And you can very easily see those points of light. And actually, we saw, I think one of the videos we looked at, we wondered if it was just a lens flare, but it had those same like kind of 6 points of light that would flare. And, you know, I wonder if it's one of these Merkaba orbs sort of morphing and moving. And one of the texts that we study on this channel is called The Keys of Enoch. And it talks about how the space brotherhoods use Merkaba vehicles, and it's more of like it's even more advanced than standard anti-grav saucers, because the Merkaba vehicle in and of itself is actually an energetic vehicle, I guess you could say. I guess it can be created with technology to assist the process, but it's also something that J.J. Hurtak claims is one of the core, I guess, shapes to the human energy field. And if we psionically learn to use our Merkaba, it can actually take us into different worlds. So that's a really interesting video. Should we go through some of the quotes on this that make us sort of convinced that this is a real link? Dude. Yeah, let's do it, because people right now are basically speculating that the orbs are angels. And one of our live streams earlier, we called it like Orbs versus Angels, and it was during that New Jersey drones thing. And but the real question is sort of like, how do we really connect this with angels? Meaning, is there enough evidence, you know, in the Bible's accounts of angels to connect these orbs with angels? Like, what's going on here? And here's our sort of evidence here. So here, D-Bake, Planetary HQ, left the quote for those who have eyes to see. And we're going to pull this up. Actually, we'll just read it from right here. So this is from the Urantia Contact. We're reading this all the time. And it is going to tell you what we think is happening in this video. So the erroneous idea that angels possess wings is not wholly due to olden notions that they must have wings to fly through the air. Human beings have sometimes been permitted to observe seraphim that were being prepared for transport service, and the traditions of these experiences have largely determined the Urantia concept of angels. In observing a transport seraphim being made ready to receive a passenger for interplanetary transit, there may be seen what are apparently double sets of wings extending from the head to the foot of the angel. In reality, these wings are energy insulators, friction shields. When celestial beings are to be enseraphimed for transfer from one world to another, they are brought to the headquarters of the sphere after due registry, are inducted into the transit sleep. Meantime, the transport seraphim moves into a horizontal position immediately above the universe energy pole of the planet. While the energy shields are wide open, the sleeping personality is skillfully deposited by the officiating seraphic assistants directly on top of the transport angel. Then both the upper and lower pairs of shields are carefully closed and adjusted. And now, under the influence of the transformers and transmitters, a strange metamorphosis begins as the seraphim is made ready to swing into the energy currents of the universe circuits. To outward appearance, the seraphim grows pointed at both extremities and becomes so enshrouded in a queer light of amber hue that very soon it is impossible to distinguish the enseraphimed personality. When all is in readiness for departure, the chief of transport makes a proper inspection of the carriage of life, carries out the routine test to ascertain whether or not the angel is properly encircuited, and then announces that the traveler is properly enseraphimed, that the energies are adjusted, that the angel is insulated, and that everything is in readiness for the departing flash. The mechanical controllers, 2 of them, next take their positions. By this time, the transport Seraphim has become an almost transparent, vibrating, torpedo-shaped outline of glistening luminosity. Now the transport dispatcher of the realm summons the auxiliary batteries of the living energy transmitters, usually 1,000 in number. As he announces the destination of the transport, he reaches out and touches the near point of the seraphic carriage, which shoots forward with lightning-like speed, leaving a trail of celestial luminosity as far as the planetary atmospheric investment extends. In less than 10 minutes, the marvelous spectacle will be lost even to reinforced seraphic vision. While planetary space reports are received at noon at the meridian of the designated spiritual headquarters, the transporters are dispatched from the same place at midnight. That is the most favorable time for departure and is the standard hour when not otherwise specified.
That last part I think is extremely important to tie it to this video, because this video is taken at midnight over Jerusalem, where it says this happens at midnight at the spiritual polarity reception point. Jerusalem, to me, would be a spiritual polarity reception point. So much shit's happening there. It's the spiritual headquarters of the planet. And then this happens right at midnight. You know, it almost seems like they were allowed to put on a show for us. So I wonder if this marked like a change in the galactic administration, you know? Like, yes, we finally got the okay to
Right.
make mental contact with more people on Earth. Let's celebrate. Let's show them a little bit, you know? Or maybe this was the day they were allowed to formally show themselves as glowing orbs in a more greater numbers, you know?
Yeah, because it's like, surely there's many departures from this similar point, but why don't we see more of them? Are they able to disguise this process? Are they sometimes like, just don't turn on the cloaking? It's cool. Like, we're allowed. Because the quote said that, like, yeah, exactly. This is exactly it. Human beings have sometimes been permitted to observe seraphim that were being prepared for transport service.
Yes. So, like, that's what I'm saying. The orbs in the sky, they know they're getting recorded. The second your phone turns on them, I guarantee you they can pick up camera sensors that are pointed at them, and they know. So, like, don't be naive. Like, we're videotaping them without their knowledge. Like, they fucking know. And it's interesting. Yeah, that's definitely a show over Temple Mount, Jerusalem on New Year's. And it describes exactly what the Urantia contact is fucking describing. And the Urantia book didn't come out until 1911. The last transmission was 1935. That was almost more than 100 years ago now for some of the sessions. How is it calling it out perfect way before we had video cameras? Not way before, but way before we had this cinematic quality cameras. How does it call it out? Is the prophecy fulfilled? Like, is this literally a fulfilled prophecy? It's fucking weird.
Yeah, Urantia prophecy. Yeah, it's a really sick video, and there's multiple coinciding, I would say, data points in this kind of passage here. Let me drop this in the chat for you guys. We want you to examine this for yourself and figure out how much of this really links to what we're seeing in the video.
Yeah,
so
I'll drop the paper link in there too. You're just gonna drop the quote?
I got the link. I got
you're dropping the video.
Yep, I got it. I'll do both. So here in the chat, that's the Urantia quote that we just read, and here is the video. So log that in your UFO journals.
Study it, put it on your wall.
Yeah, and what there was a couple of things I wanted to explain here that this is how the interdimensional beings get to our planet from very far distances. So let's get into what are these seraphic transports and how does this relate to UFOs? Because, again, we kind of opened up saying there's a couple different classes of beings that are enshrouded within this UFO phenomenon. And There's three kind of terms I use. Celestials, ultra-terrestrials, and aliens. And the celestial beings are these light beings. These angels, they have immortal states of existence. They're not all-knowing. They're not omnipresent, but to us, they would, I mean, if they show up in front of you, you might think it's God himself. But that's why they're always like, fear not. And that's why also they're recorded as saying, don't worship me. I'm not God. So that's the Elohim as recorded in, the Abrahamic tradition, these beings of light. So celestials, ultra-terrestrials are beings that might live here, may even have been born here, but they're not directly the standard human race. Aliens is the mortal races, those who arise out of the evolutionary life struggle of the animal creatures. Their brain becomes complex enough to support self-consciousness, awareness, God consciousness, psionic abilities, and they go on to become the dominant species on their planet. And that life program is actually guided by the celestial beings. And so that's what the Urantia book explains. And so there's a couple interdimensional personalities that the Urantia contact says that they're here, that they're visiting. And it not only talks about extraterrestrial worlds and how they're created, why they're created, but it also explains some of the different ET beings. So here from paper 30, we get into, the courtesy colonies. Let's see what this paper is about. Okay, so this is paper 30. They call it Personalities of the Grand Universe. So it's basically the extraterrestrial playbook. This is why we say that this is the greatest classification of extraterrestrials known to mankind. So
undeniably.
And welcome, Markin PCB. Welcome to the chat. Thanks for watching. And yes, we are going to explain this whole angel thing and hopefully bridge the gap here, because this is one of religion's greatest mystery. Who are these angels? What messages are they bringing on behalf of what beings in the universe? Are they just aliens, or are they more than aliens? Where does this come? How does this cosmic regime come into place? So here they talk about what they call star students. So
students.
This is the section, right? Star students.
For what part?
The ones that visit. I think some of these. It says some of these
star
visit our planets.
Visitors.
Student visitors.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's the term. Let me search up
star
that term.
It's another term for a different type. It's similar.
I'll read the thing about star students and then go to student visitors. So the star students, the celestial astronomers, choose to work on spheres like Uversa because such specially constructed worlds are unusually favorable for their observations and calculations. Uversa is favorably situated from the work of this colony, not only because of its central location.
Star students are just astronomers.
Yeah. So this is talking about like different celestial astronomers. Some of these beings are in what we would call the afterlife. But it's actually a geophysical place in the universe. It's less of another dimension and more like a level of energy that is not entirely always visible to the eye. And some of these afterlife planets are actually artificially created spheres. And the Urantia book explains how some of these spheres, they don't actually have light emanating from them because they reflect light back into their atmosphere. So we would have a hard time seeing and observing them with a telescope. So let me find this quote about the student visitors, because what we read here was about seraphim, angels, transporting beings, interdimensional beings, you could say. And how and why is that happening? What does that mean? So this goes beyond the biblical context of all the things the angels do. So the Urantia book describes the hierarchy of angels, the different types. They're actually basically what you could call different races. What's up?
I'm just wondering now, can they in seraphim combustion bodies? I'm wondering, or do you have to like drop your physical body to transport?
I think it does say. We'll try and find that quote. So the angels can do a bunch of things. They actually serve a larger role than just bringing messages. Your Urantia book says that there is a planetary government and there's a cosmic government, and these councils are made up of a lot of these different angelic races, and they are different races. There's entirely different types. In fact, it's probably silly for us to call them angels because it makes it sound like they're all the same. They're all one. They all serve, I guess, different functions in the cosmic government, and they're created with a purpose to reach down to the time-space planets and help the animal beings become eternalized and survive into the afterlife. And it actually says that one of the ways that we get off planet after we die, in fact, it says that we're quite incapable of getting off the planet on our own after we die. We actually require transportation to the afterlife, in where the angelic crew will resurrect our consciousness, which they preserve, into a new body. And when they transport you, they're transporting what you would abstractly call your soul matrix. There's some form of what they call Urantia energy essence that contains you and how your experiences have shaped you. And that is the piece that they can, in seraphim, they're called, some of them are seraphic transport, and they, in seraphim, and they take what we thought were angel wings, but they're actually friction shields, and they enshroud the soul that they're transporting, the being. And once they're connected and everything's safe, that's when that quote that we read earlier says there's like a bunch of other beings that inspect the transport seraphim and make sure everything is good. And then they said 1,000, it was like 1,000 like living energy batteries that they connect the seraphim to. And that gives it like this power to shoot off into the universe to their next destination. So here's the quote. The transporters.
I did find the quote. It's in the same paper. It says, yeah, seraphim can't transport combustion bodies. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I can read it right after
you would
this
just
one.
Like, they would take your DNA, transport that, and then regenerate your body on the other side, I guess. But yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so the transporters. These are the transport seraphim who function in the local systems. In Satania, your system, they carry passengers back and forth from Jerusalem and otherwise serve as interplanetary transporters. Seldom does a day pass in which transport seraphim of Satania does not deposit some student visitor or some other traveler of spirit or semi-spirit nature on the shores of Urantia. These very space traversers will sometime carry you to and from the various worlds of the system headquarters group. And when you have finished the Jerusalem assignment, they will carry you forward to Edentia. But under no circumstances will they carry you backward to the world of human origin. A mortal never returns to his native planet during the dispensation of his temporal existence. And if he should return during a subsequent dispensation, he would be escorted by a transport seraphim of the universe headquarter group.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you don't get to visit your home planet until it shifts into the next era. Now you can come back and be like, wow, this place has really changed.
Yeah, you can't come back until after it's been renovated.
Yeah. Wonder why. It's weird. Whatever.
Yeah. So, a couple things I wanted to point out here. They said in Satania, your system, these angels carry you back and forth between this Jerusalem planet. So, for those who are new to the Urantia contact, it has a lot of unique terms and words. Satania, D-Bay, give him a breakdown. Why is it saying Satania? Are we in Satan's universe? What's going on here?
So, like I say all the time on the channel, we talked about it earlier. The kingdom of heaven is the universal government, the galactic federation. In essence, the entire universe is sectored out and federated, and they have an angel or a celestial that's in charge of every sector. The angel who was in charge of our sector, his name was Lucifer, but he rebelled against the greater government. But within his little section of the cosmic government that he was in charge of, there is a section called Satania. And the celestial being who was in charge of that section, his name was Satan. Now, we talk about this a lot on the channel. It's just conjecture. We don't really know exactly. But the word Satan in our own language on planet Earth, it means adversary. So you could say that this sector could be nicknamed the adversarial section of the cosmos. That's if they're going off our terminology. If his name is actually Satan, then his name's Satan, and this section is named after him, Satan. The Urantia book, not in the Urantia book itself, but there's extra Urantia expanded universe that says that they have since changed the name. It's no longer called Satania, and now it's called like Lanaforgia or something like that. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
they say that Lanaforge is a name of the angel who has replaced Satan. One of the
Lucifer.
three sort of primary personalities. Lanaforge replaced Lucifer, the system sovereign. And apparently the extra Urantia book source says they sort of rename our system after the head angel that manages it.
Yeah, and I guess that might be the custom in the stars, you know. If there's a new sector of space getting developed and you're the angel that's in charge of it, they'll name the sector after you, maybe as like a badge of honor until you fuck up. So maybe
Yeah.
Urantia. I don't know how they got the term Urantia. Whatever.
Yeah. So let's see. Find that
But
quote
yeah, how
about
long
combustion.
have we been going? I got a little bit of time left.
Yeah, we're about 1 hour 50 minutes in.
Yeah, I'm being summoned. So
yeah, how much time? How fast should we wrap it?
like 10 minutes.
Okay, for sure. Okay, so yeah, D-Bake asked earlier, can you petition the transport seraphim to rapture you off the planet in your physical body? And the answer is no. It says the angels cannot transport combustion bodies, flesh and blood, such as you now have, but they can transport all others from the lowest Morancha to the higher spirit forms. They do not function in the event of natural death. When you finish your earthly career, your body remains on this planet. Your thought adjuster, aka the image of God and man, the higher self, proceeds to the bosom of the Father, the source, the first source and center. And these angels are not directly concerned in your subsequent personality reassembly on the identification mansion world. There, your new body is a Morancha form, one that can in seraphim. You sow a mortal body in the grave, you reap a Morancha form on the mansion worlds. So, you can get that light body V1.
That's right. So that was what I was conjecturing before, because a physical body might be too big and heavy to drag through the cosmos. You know, too much drag, or just it's impractical. They would
Can't
just
go at
take a
light
strand of
speed.
your DNA. Yeah, exactly. They take a strand of your DNA, transport that strand of DNA, and then regenerate your body at the other planet. It just makes more sense. It's a lot easier. So
Yeah, for sure. All right. So, in the comments, anyone have any questions about that whole kind of angelology here? I know we're going deep, and But sounds like, yeah, Markin. I'm sure there's some interesting things in this text. He says, thanks, guys. Wish I found you before. It sounds like an interesting dialogue. There's no time like the present, my brother or sister. I'm going to drop this link for you here in the chat so you can read about how the angels and seraphim beings and yeah, this is basically from our position. These are the interdimensional beings that some of the Congress people keep talking about. But there are beings that use technology to get here, and they are normally more like beings like us, meaning combustion bodies, flesh and blood creatures who, if you move too fast, your body's going to hit by G-forces. And so you got to use the anti-gravity principle to create a highly energized state, kind of warping time space so that friction is not a problem and you can still move fast. But if you're in a Marancha or lower spirit form, the angels can actually kind of give you a little hug, get you locked in with the energy shields that humans have historically thought were wings, and then just like that video over Jerusalem, they can all inspect the carriage, make sure the energy universe circuit is going, and then like He-Man, they shout, "I have the power," and then they shoot off into the universe.
Like it. It's exactly what I'm looking for. Interesting. Let's see here. Got any more videos? Was that the last video?
Yeah, I think that was the last video. I don't know if there's any other kind of quotes here or things from the Urantia contact that we should kind of throw to the people. But yeah, if you have any questions to get in before we kind of close out the stream here, ask them now.
Yeah.
And yes, stay tuned for more UFO files. Hopefully it gets exciting.
Yeah, we got a lot of big interviews coming out soon. Stay tuned. We said Diane Hennessy, Billy Carson.
Yeah, we are trying to do this full time. We want to be doing planetary operations 100% of the day. That's why we set up a planetary headquarters in Tennessee. D-Bake and I are living in the same spot. I'm doing some traveling right now, but we are about to be at Contact in the Desert in Palm Springs, California, for the biggest UFO conference here in America. And it's going to be exciting. This may be the last contact in the desert before the government reveals that there are aliens. So, kind of a historic moment. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of great camaraderie here at this conference. If you want to hang out and meet us there, the event's like pretty full, but there are hotels, around, very close by, right across the street. You could still get in. It's going to be super exciting. And let's do some, I don't know, words of power and then close out this stream. What are we getting? What do we get from all these UFO videos? Are we going anywhere? Crickets. Oh, D-Bake's on mute. Oh, sorry.
we can just have open communication. You too can also be a pillar of light reflecting God into this planet. So every day when you wake up, just think those thoughts. I'm going to reflect the image of God off of my body. I'm going to use my body as a mirror to reflect people's vision back to the Father, back to the Creator. So just remember, you are more than what you think you are. And when you walk around on planet Earth, try your best to help others hit their potential. Even if they don't want to do it to you, try to get that ball rolling, because we're not going to see benefits in our lifetime, but it's for the future 1,000 generations. So we have to start this now. And if I don't see you in this life, I'll see you in the afterlife. Stay strong, brother. And sister.
Yeah, we lost sound for a little bit there, but I just restarted OBS, so we didn't miss too much of your words of power, I don't think. So yeah, thanks for watching the stream, everybody. I'm gonna try and keep this short, but stay optimistic. I mean, in retrospect, the disclosure community is very inspiring, I guess, to be at. When we were at Contact in the Desert, that first year, we were like, wow, if it was up to the people here at this conference, like, disclosure would have it's already happened. I mean, the amount of people that have personal stories, accounts, and videos and telepathic experiences, we're like, okay, we're already in a disclosure world. There's like a whole different consciousness bubble there at that conference, right? It's like the consensus reality is that we are cosmic citizens and this is the greatest time to be alive. So I hope that everyone watching can kind of get a little bit of taste of that, whether it's through our channel, but also we want you to participate. So in whatever way you can, try and get in the mix and, watch the content, but hit the subscribe button, make sure you're staying up to speed on the Celestial broadcast, but more importantly, your higher self, your inner divine image, your thought adjuster, as your Urantia contact says, is actually capable of receiving universe broadcast, is what they call it. And this is like the cosmic radio that's coming from the Galactic Federation. And the only thing that stops it from getting that message to you is your own different thought and mind distortions. And that is your responsibility to grow your mind, your body, and your spirit, your mental relaxation through meditation, through physical exercises, making sure that you're at your peak. And when you then add the conscious attention to connect and get that download from the divine forces all around you, those broadcasts can be delivered. And so that is the true disclosure, is the universe broadcast coming through the divine within and the seraphic transports and angels around you. So please tap in, do not tune out, participate in this planet, and let's take it back. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Oh, yeah.